Alright, so good morning or afternoon or whatever time it is when you are watching this. I am going to do a braces update video right now because it has been, I think, 2 weeks since I went for my last adjustment. Alright, so good morning or afternoon or whatever time it is when you are watching this. I am going to do a braces update video right now because it has been, I think, 2 weeks since I went for my last adjustment. So when I went for my last adjustment, if you didn't see the other video, basically they didn't change out anything. They reused the same wires and everything, and they just put some new springs on. And I also got new elastics. So for that update, number one, I haven't really been able to use the elastics. They are a lot stronger than the other ones that I was using, and they are obviously to adjust my jaw to pull it forward. And the problem with that is that since they have added the extra springs on the bottom, my two bottom front teeth now stick out kind of like a beaver or, I don't know, a gerbil. It's really weird. I'm hoping that once they get all of my teeth tied in, it'll all pull out to be straight, but right now they're actually, instead of sticking up in my mouth, they kind of stick forward. So when I try and put the elastics on, if I use the new ones, which are called kangaroos, and they are 3/16 of an inch versus the 1/16, which the other ones, which were quail, were, they tries to pull my jaw forward so much so that the teeth that stick out all funny actually hit the bottom, not the bottom, the back of my front teeth. So I'll try and show you. These ones right here, they stick out instead of up. So I haven't really been wearing the elastics as much as I should, and even when I do, I'll sometimes wear the other ones just because it's better to wear those than nothing at all, I figure. But wearing the kangaroo or the stronger ones, just, it doesn't work for me. It hurts way, way, way too much. So I should probably be calling my orthodontist, but I haven't had the time lately, so I'll put a call in possibly later on today or this week and figure out what they want to do about that. Another thing that has happened is that although it is the same wire that's in the bottom, like literally they didn't change the wire, they just took it out and put new springs on and stuck it back in, it didn't go all the way in on this side, so now that's not even in the actual bracket at the back. It's just kind of loose there. So I need to figure out, and that just kind of happened in the last couple of days, so I need to figure out what they want to do about that. It doesn't really bother me, it doesn't poke my mouth or anything like that, but obviously that's not how it's supposed to be, so it's something that I do need to talk to the orthodontist about. As for the springs, they are a pain in the butt. They are so bad when you first get them and they stick out, because they stick out, and then at nighttime, when you're sleeping, you try not to drool on yourself, so you unconsciously kind of create suction in your mouth. And then what that does is it pulls your lip and your mouth into the springs, so that I literally have, I'm not sure if you'd even be able to see it, but there's a whole bunch, I was going to say 100, but that's probably a hyperbole, a whole bunch of tiny cuts inside my mouth where each little ring of the spring is. I don't think you can see it. But there's a whole bunch of tiny cuts, and they were way worse when I first got the springs and the springs stuck out, or they made it the wire and the springs stick out more, but now it's kind of pushed back a little bit, I think. Not sticking out quite as much, or my mouth is maybe getting used to it and getting a bit tougher. But when I first got it, it was really, really bad. And especially if I didn't drink enough water during the day and my mouth was a bit more dry, then when you're sleeping or your mouth is closed and you're not drinking enough water, the inside of your mouth actually kind of dries to the springs, so you have to pull them off and out of the little springs, which is horrible. This is one of the many, many reasons that I cannot wait for September 25th when I go for my next appointment, and they told me, they promised me that they would take the springs off. They did consider it this last time and give me a tiny bit of hope, but then he said no, that it's better to have a little bit extra room, so we'd leave it on for the extra month. Now, I'm glad that it's only a month this time versus the last appointment was 2 months apart. So instead of 6 weeks, it was, I think, 8 or 9 weeks. And this time it is exactly 1 month. So from August, what's it? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. it's almost exactly a month, but it's still way less time. So I'm happy that the time should be kind of flying by now that we're really, really busy, so that, you know, before I know it, it's time to get those stupid springs off because they are horrible. And I also want to get obviously the rest of my teeth kind of attached to the wire so that they can start moving too. Because that's the one big thing that the whole braces are supposed to be doing, is moving. That's what I hate about my mouth, basically, or my smile, is those 4 teeth, and they're not even attached. So that sucks, and I'm hoping for the wires to be attached to those teeth soon, which they're supposed to, like I said. Other thing, so what the springs were supposed to do is make more room, just a tiny bit more room at least, for my teeth to start to turn, and they've definitely done that. Usually when you go in the first, 4 or 5 days is when the most change happens, and then it kind of drops off after that until you go in again, and then change happens really quickly in the first few days, and then your teeth kind of get used to the pressure and stop moving quite as quickly. So I'll show you there's huge gaps on either side of the teeth, right there, and right there. And even on the bottom, there's now gaps where before, when I first got the brackets on the 2 bottom ones that aren't even attached right now, they said not to worry about having to floss those because I probably wouldn't be able to get floss in there, and I couldn't for the first couple days. So now there's actually gaps, which are more noticeable, I think, with the fact that my teeth are gerbil teeth, because they stick out funny and show you the gaps more. But regardless of that, I'll show you the gaps. And I know that in my last video I had commented on how you really needed to take care of your teeth so that the teeth that are, the part of the tooth that's exposed right now stays kind of nice and white, because there are parts of your teeth that are covered and aren't exposed to the coffee and the tea and the wine and things like that. And I wasn't doing a very good job of that. I didn't think about the fact that my protein shakes actually contain instant coffee, which, same idea as drinking coffee. So I wasn't drinking tea and I wasn't actually drinking coffee, but I didn't think of that. So I did actually stop drinking the coffee protein shakes in hopes that I know that my teeth were getting kind of a little bit yellower than I'd like. So I stopped drinking that and now definitely use the whitening toothpaste. And in fact, whenever I go to the orthodontist, they have the little sample total care whitening. And so I grab 1 or 2 of those and then use those at home. As well as I have not looked for any of the whitening mouthwash that will not burn. I'm not sure if there are any or if it even burns with the whitening ones. I think they're more foamy because they have hydrogen peroxide in them. But once I run out of the zero, which doesn't burn, I'm going to see about getting the stuff that actually whitens your teeth, just because I know it may not be bad or not be very good for your body to be using all these whitening things, but you don't actually really ingest a whole lot of it. And yeah, if I'm spending, thousands of dollars on my teeth, I'm going to try to make it so that they don't have polka dots all over them in the end, because that would look even stupider than they already do now. So if you have any other questions or want me to show you anything different or more of anything in the next video, let me know. And if you want to see more of the whole braces journey, which is going to be all the way up until May of 2019, so we got a while to go, you can subscribe, and again, ask any questions, and I will try to either answer them in the comments or answer them in the next video. All right, see you next time.